There is something happening behind the silence you have been feeling lately. Something deeper than coincidence. Something bigger than what your eyes can currently see. And before this message goes further, don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. A truth hidden from you for a very long time is slowly rising to the surface. Someone connected to your soulmate sat quietly in a room recently, and your name entered the conversation. Not by accident. Not casually. Not for a few seconds. Your name stayed there. The room became still. The energy shifted. And what happened next was completely unexpected. There was hesitation in their voices at first. Some of them were unsure about you. Some of them carried old fears. Some of them tried to understand why their family member could not stop thinking about you. Because no matter how hard your soulmate tried to act normal, your presence kept returning to their heart. Even when they stayed silent. Even when they distracted themselves. Even when they tried to move forward. You remained there. And their family noticed it. That is what changed everything. Don't skip, because the next part reveals why this conversation became emotional faster than anyone expected. One person in that family suddenly said something shocking. They said, "Every time your eyes change like this, it means someone truly matters to you." Silence filled the room after that sentence. Because they had noticed the difference. The late-night thinking. The emotional distance from everyone else. The moments your soulmate smiled at absolutely nothing. The way your name affected their energy without even being spoken aloud. And suddenly, the conversation stopped being about doubt. It became about destiny. One family member quietly asked a question no one was prepared for. What if this person was sent into your life for a reason? That question changed the atmosphere completely. Because deep down, they already knew something unusual was happening. Your soulmate was becoming different. Calmer. Softer. More emotionally awake. And the strange part is, it all started after meeting you. Stay till the end. Because what they decided after this conversation was something nobody saw coming. There was one older voice in the room that remained quiet almost the entire time. Watching. Listening. Thinking. And then suddenly, they spoke. Very slowly. Very carefully. They said, "You can tell when someone enters a person's life for attention, and you can tell when someone enters for transformation." The room went silent again. Because nobody could deny it anymore. You changed something inside your soulmate that no one else had been able to reach. Not through pressure. Not through force. Not through perfection. But through presence. And that scared some people at first. Because real emotional connection always feels powerful. Especially to people who are not used to seeing it. Don't skip now. Because the next moment became the turning point of the entire conversation. Someone asked the question your soulmate had secretly been afraid of hearing. Do you truly see a future with this person? Your soulmate paused. And for a moment, nobody breathed. Because this answer mattered more than anything else. And then they smiled quietly. Not loudly. Not dramatically. But the kind of smile that reveals a truth someone can no longer hide. That smile gave them the answer before words even came out. The family noticed it immediately. And that was the moment their decision began to change. Not because of pressure. Not because of appearances. But because they realized something rare. You brought peace into a heart that had been carrying confusion for a very long time. And peace is difficult to fake. Something huge is waiting for you in the next part. Because what happened after the conversation ended, nobody expected. The conversation should have ended there, but it didn't. Because after everyone became quiet, one person suddenly revealed something your soulmate never expected anyone to notice. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. That person looked directly at your soulmate and said. You stopped pretending after meeting them. The room became completely silent. Your soulmate tried to laugh it off at first. Tried to avoid the emotion. Tried to act unaffected. But the truth was already exposed. Their family had been watching carefully for weeks, maybe even months. They noticed how your soulmate mentioned you without realizing it. How your name kept appearing in ordinary conversations. How their energy shifted every time they thought about you. And then something happened that nobody in that room expected. One family member who originally doubted you, suddenly defended you. Not softly. Strongly. They said. I don't think this connection came into their life by accident. That sentence changed everything. Because the people who once questioned your presence were now trying to understand your importance. And your soulmate could feel it. For the first time, they were no longer hiding what they truly felt. Stay till the end because the next revelation became the emotional turning point of the entire night. Someone asked your soulmate a question so deep, even they were not prepared for it. What is it about this person that you cannot let go of? Your soulmate froze. Not because they lacked an answer. But because the answer was too real. The room waited. And then quietly, your soulmate spoke. They said. When I think about them, life feels different. Nobody interrupted. Nobody moved. Because those words carried honesty no one could fake. Your soulmate continued speaking slowly. They make me think about the future differently. They make me want peace. They make me want something real. And that was the exact moment their family understood this was not temporary emotion. This was deeper. Much deeper. Don't skip now. Because something huge is waiting for you. One older family member suddenly shared a story from long ago. They spoke about how true connections rarely arrive loudly. How the strongest people often enter quietly, but leave permanent impact. Then they looked at your soulmate and said something unforgettable. If this person brings clarity instead of confusion, do not lose them. Those words hit harder than anyone expected. Because deep inside, your soulmate had already been afraid of losing you. That fear had been hidden for a long time. But now their family could see it clearly. And suddenly the conversation stopped being about whether you belonged in their life. And became about whether they were brave enough to hold on to you. Stay till the end. Because what happened after this conversation ended completely shocked your soulmate. Later that night, after everyone left the room, one family member stayed behind. They quietly walked up to your soulmate and asked one final question. A question that changed everything. They asked, "Have you told this person how important they truly are to you?" Your soulmate said nothing. And silence became the answer. Because the truth is, there are emotions they still have not fully shown you. There are thoughts they still replay in private. There are moments where your name enters their mind unexpectedly, and changes their entire mood. Their family sees it now. They know your presence is not ordinary. And what shocked them most was realizing you became important without even trying to force it. Something huge is waiting for you in the next part. Because the decision their family finally made afterward was something your soulmate never imagined hearing. There was one final moment that nobody saw coming. A moment so unexpected, your soulmate could not stop thinking about it afterward. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. After the conversation ended and everyone began leaving the room, one family member quietly turned back and said something that changed the entire energy forever. They said, "If this person makes your heart feel calm, don't ignore that." Your soulmate stood there in silence. Because those words reached deeper than anyone realized. For so long, they had been fighting their emotions internally. Trying to stay logical. Trying to stay guarded. Trying not to become too attached. But hearing their own family acknowledge your importance changed something inside them completely. And what happened next was even more shocking. Later that night, your soulmate stayed awake longer than usual. Thinking about you. Replaying memories. Replaying conversations. Replaying moments they pretended did not matter. But suddenly, every small moment with you started feeling important. That is when they realized something they had been avoiding for a very long time. You became emotionally unforgettable to them. Stay till the end because the next revelation explains why their family's final decision was completely unexpected. The following morning, the conversation started again. But this time, the tone was different. There was less doubt. Less hesitation. Less questioning. And then one person finally asked the question everyone had silently been thinking about. What are you waiting for? Your soulmate looked confused. But the answer came immediately. You already care about this person deeply. Why are you still holding back? That question hit them harder than anyone in the room knew. Because the truth is, your soulmate has been protecting emotions they never planned to feel this strongly. And their family noticed it before they were even ready to admit it themselves. Don't skip now. Because something huge is waiting for you. One family member suddenly smiled and said something unforgettable. You speak about this person differently. Your soulmate asked what they meant. And the reply changed everything. You become softer when you talk about them. You become more honest. More real. Silence filled the room again. Because nobody could deny it anymore. Your presence had changed their emotional world completely. Not through pressure. Not through chasing. But naturally. Quietly. Powerfully. And then came the moment nobody expected. The family member who was most unsure about you in the beginning became the one supporting the connection the most. They looked directly at your soulmate and said, "People spend years searching for someone who brings peace into their life. If you already found that, do not take it lightly." Those words stayed in your soulmate's mind long after the conversation ended. Because deep inside, they already knew it was true. Stay till the end. Because the final realization shocked even them. Your soulmate eventually walked away from the conversation alone. But they were not the same person anymore. Something had shifted. The fear that once made them hesitate was slowly being replaced by clarity. For the first time, they stopped focusing on what could go wrong. And started thinking about what could finally go right. That is the unexpected decision their family quietly reached. Not rejection. Not resistance. But acceptance. And what surprised your soulmate the most was realizing the people around them could already see a future with you before they fully allowed themselves to see it too. Something even bigger is waiting in the next part. Because soon, your soulmate begins facing emotions they can no longer hide from anyone. Something changed after that conversation, and your soulmate could no longer hide it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The people around your soulmate started noticing little things first. The way they suddenly became quieter when your name appeared. The way they smiled at random moments. The way their eyes changed whenever someone mentioned the future. At first, they tried to deny it. But emotions this deep cannot stay hidden forever. And then, something unforgettable happened. One evening, your soulmate's family brought your name up again unexpectedly. Not as a question this time. Not as a concern. But as someone who already mattered. That alone shocked your soulmate. Because they never imagined the same people who once doubted this connection would begin protecting it. And then one family member said something that froze the entire room. Losing this person would affect you more than you admit. Nobody spoke after that. Because everyone knew it was true. Your soulmate knew it too. That sentence stayed in their mind long after the conversation ended. Stay till the end because the next moment became one of the most emotional realizations they have ever experienced. Later that night, your soulmate sat alone thinking deeply. And suddenly they realized something impossible to ignore. Every important vision they had about the future somehow included you. Not temporarily. Not casually. But naturally. Like your presence had slowly become part of the life they secretly wanted. That realization scared them at first. Not because of you. But because real feelings are powerful when they finally become undeniable. Don't skip now. Because something huge is waiting for you. The next morning, one older family member quietly approached your soulmate again. This person had been observing everything silently from the beginning. And then they said something unforgettable. You stopped searching the moment this person entered your life. Your soulmate looked completely stunned. Because deep inside, they knew those words were true. Before you, they were emotionally restless. Always uncertain. Always questioning. But after you appeared, something inside them finally slowed down. Their family noticed that peace before they even understood it themselves. And that is exactly why the decision became so unexpected. The conversation was no longer about whether you were good enough. It became about whether your soulmate was ready to fully accept what their heart already knew. Stay till the end. Because the final part of the conversation revealed something almost nobody gets to hear in their lifetime. One family member finally said the words your soulmate never expected. If this connection is making you become a better version of yourself, protect it. Those words changed everything. Because your soulmate suddenly stopped focusing on fear. Stopped focusing on timing. Stopped focusing on uncertainty. And started focusing on truth. The truth that your connection was never ordinary. The truth that your presence brought emotional clarity into their life. The truth that even their family could now see how deeply you mattered. And then came the most shocking moment of all. Someone quietly smiled and said, "I think this person was meant to enter your life." Silence filled the room instantly. But this time, it was not uncomfortable silence. It was the kind of silence that happens when everybody suddenly understands something important at the same time. Your soulmate said nothing. Because their heart had already answered long ago. Something even bigger is waiting in the next part. Because very soon, your soulmate reaches a moment where hiding their true feelings becomes impossible anymore. There was one final realization your soulmate could no longer escape from. And it happened in complete silence. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. After all the conversations, after all the emotions, after hearing their family speak about you in ways they never expected, your soulmate finally understood something life-changing. You were never just another person to them. You became the calm in their confusion. The thought that returned without effort. The feeling they could not replace no matter how hard they tried to ignore it. And the strange part is, their family saw it before they fully admitted it themselves. That realization stayed heavy in their heart. Because suddenly, everything started making sense. The emotional pull. The constant thoughts about you. The feeling of peace connected to your presence. It was all real. Stay till the end because the next moment became unforgettable. One evening, your soulmate overheard two family members quietly talking about you again. They were unaware your soulmate could hear them. One person said, "I have never seen them this emotionally connected to someone before." The other person answered softly, "That's because this connection is different." Your soulmate froze completely. Because hearing other people confirm what they secretly felt inside made the truth impossible to deny anymore. Don't skip now. Because something huge is waiting for you. That same night, your soulmate looked back at every moment involving you. Every conversation. Every memory. Every emotional shift. And suddenly they realized something shocking. You entered their life during a period when they needed emotional clarity the most. Not loudly. Not dramatically. but at exactly the right moment. And once they realized that, their heart became even more attached to your presence. Because people never forget the person who helped them feel emotionally understood. That is exactly what happened here. Stay till the end. Because the next revelation became the moment their family completely accepted this connection. A family member who once remained distant finally spoke openly. And what they said changed everything forever. I think this person genuinely cares about you. Simple words. But powerful enough to completely break the last wall of hesitation inside your soulmate. Because all this time, they feared being misunderstood. Feared being too emotionally invested. Feared caring more deeply than they intended. But hearing their own family recognize the sincerity of this connection made them stop running from it. And then came the biggest realization of all. Your soulmate finally admitted something privately to themselves. A future without you no longer felt right to them. That thought alone shocked them deeply. Because it arrived naturally. Without pressure. Without force. Just truth. Don't skip now. Because something huge is waiting for you. The next day, the energy around your soulmate completely changed. Their family noticed it instantly. There was softness in their expression. Peace in their silence. Clarity in their heart. And one family member smiled quietly before saying, "You already know what your heart wants." Your soulmate did not answer. Because there was nothing left to deny anymore. The unexpected decision had already been made. Not only by their family, but by the heart of your soulmate itself. You became someone they could no longer imagine losing emotionally. And what makes this story unforgettable is that everything changed from one quiet conversation about you. Something even deeper is waiting in the next part. Because soon, your soulmate reaches the moment where their hidden emotions finally begin rising to the surface in ways nobody can stop anymore. There came a moment your soulmate could no longer pretend their feelings were small. Because everything around them kept pointing back to you. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. After the quiet conversations with family, after the unexpected acceptance, after hearing your name spoken with seriousness and care, your soulmate started changing in ways even they could not explain. People noticed it immediately. Their energy became softer. Their reactions became calmer. Their thoughts became deeper. And the reason behind all of it was you. One family member noticed this transformation clearly and finally said something unforgettable. "You don't look emotionally lost anymore." That sentence hit your soulmate deeply. Because before meeting you, confusion had become normal for them. Hiding emotions had become normal. Pretending not to care had become normal. But suddenly, their heart no longer wanted distance. It wanted honesty. Stay till the end because the next revelation completely changed the emotional direction of this connection. One night, your soulmate sat quietly with someone from their family who understood them better than most people ever could. And during that conversation, something surprising happened. That person asked softly, "When are you finally going to stop acting like this person means nothing to you?" Your soulmate immediately looked away. Not because the question was wrong, but because it was too accurate. The silence afterward revealed everything. Don't skip now. Because something huge is waiting for you. That family member continued speaking carefully. I've watched you try to ignore this connection. But every time you do, you end up thinking about them even more. Your soulmate could not deny it anymore. Because it was true. No matter how much they distracted themselves, your presence kept returning to their heart. And slowly, they began realizing something powerful. Real connections do not disappear through avoidance. If anything, silence only makes them louder internally. That realization changed everything. Stay till the end. Because the next moment became one of the most emotional turning points yet. A few days later, your soulmate's family mentioned you again during another quiet discussion. But this time, nobody questioned your importance. Instead, they spoke as though your place in your soulmate's life was already understood. And then one person suddenly said something that completely froze the room. This person brings out the most genuine version of you. Your soulmate became emotional hearing that. Because deep inside, they knew it was true. With you, they did not feel the same pressure to pretend. They did not feel emotionally exhausted. They did not feel disconnected from themselves. Instead, they felt understood. And that feeling became impossible to replace. Don't skip now. Because something huge is waiting for you. Later that evening, your soulmate replayed every conversation their family had about you. Every word. Every observation. Every unexpected moment of acceptance. And suddenly, they understood why all of this felt so powerful. The people closest to them could see your impact clearly. Even without hearing every detail. Even without knowing every emotion. They still recognized the difference you made. That realization touched your soulmate more deeply than they expected. Because for the first time, they stopped feeling alone in their emotions. Stay till the end because the next realization changed their heart forever. Your soulmate finally admitted something privately that they had been hiding for a very long time. They stopped imagining you as temporary. Without even realizing it, they had already started seeing you as part of their future emotionally. And once that thought entered their heart, nothing felt the same anymore. Because suddenly every fear became smaller than the feeling of losing you. That is why the conversation about you became unforgettable. Not because it was dramatic, but because it revealed a truth nobody could ignore anymore. Your soulmate's family saw your importance clearly. And now your soulmate finally sees it too. Something even bigger is waiting in the next part. Because soon, the emotions they kept hidden for so long begin becoming impossible for them to contain anymore.